Hey there, cinephiles. Summer is right around the corner, and since things are heating up, I decided I wanted to talk about some film hot takes. For those that don't know, hot takes are opinions that people have that go against the popular opinion. For example, I think Beau is Afraid is better than Hereditary. I'm sure my editor Sebastian disagrees. But anyway, we all have our own hot takes, so on the yetifilms Instagram story, I asked for your guys' hot takes so I could react to them. So thank you to those that submitted, and now it's time to react to them. Alright, first up we have 5 Cream, which is Scream 5, sucks. And to that I say, you're wrong. Granted, I do have hot takes in my own ranking of the Scream franchise, for which I have a video for, so please check that out. One of them being that Scream 3, I think, is one of the better Scream movies. But back to Scream 5, I do think it is one of the better Scream movies. I think I have it at like number 3 overall, if not number 4. It's a fun and modern take on the Scream franchise that brings it into a new generation. I think it does it very well, but this is definitely a hot take that goes against popular opinion. I mean, it basically greenlit a whole new trilogy for the Scream franchise. And alright, this next guy submitted many. First one, Scott Pilgrim is overrated as F. I mean, sure, I could see why you would say that. A lot of people do see this as a holy grail of a movie. I don't believe it's Edgar Wright's best movie, which many people will say it's that, so I can kind of agree with this opinion to some degree. But I mean, it's still up there for one of his better movies, I'd say. But definitely a hot take, especially if you're in film school. His second one is Inception is greater than Interstellar, and I 100% agree with this. Interstellar is one of the most overrated movies of all time. I'm sorry to those that love it, but maybe I'll do an Interstellar video one day so I can say why it's overrated, but just at the end of the day, Inception is the much better movie. It's much more memorable. I understand that Interstellar has the better score and the visuals are outstanding, but that is literally it on anything that could even be slightly better than what Inception is doing. This is a hot take that I 100% agree with, actually. All right, this guy's third one, Bullet Train is overrated. I think it's still a little too early to say. Maybe first reactions, you might think it's overrated, but at the end of the day, it's a fun action movie that had engaging characters to some degree. Look, it's not the greatest thing in the world, and I don't think anyone was even saying that. I mean, the box office wasn't even spectacular for it. So is this really a hot take? I think it's more so a lukewarm take, and this is just a movie that I think is actually getting kind of forgotten more and more as we go on. So I wouldn't say this isn't necessarily a hot take. All right, and for his final one, the overall movie theater experience should affect the overall rating of a movie. I think there's one key word in this hot take that I instantly disqualify from me agreeing with in the slightest, and that is should. It definitely can and it could, but the fact that it should, I completely disagree with. This is a good hot take, I'd say, because I know so many people factor in so many different things when rating a movie, but I don't think the experience should factor into a rating of a film. It definitely can and has for me, but just because I see a great movie at home as opposed to a theater, I don't think that should lessen the rating as opposed to the wonderful sound system you can get in a movie theater. No matter what, a good movie is a good movie, and a bad movie is a bad movie, and a mid movie is a mid movie. But definitely an interesting take overall, I'd say. All right, up next we have Avatar is overrated. Good visuals don't mean a good movie. I can see why you would say it's overrated because of its box office and it being the highest grossing film of all time, not adjusted for inflation. But pop culture wise, I'd say it's not overrated. And I wouldn't say it's underrated either. I think it's just kind of, it's like a bullet train. It's just kind of there. People don't really talk about it. And there are some great things to it, but there's a lot of okay things. And I think that's why it's kind of just forgotten, especially with Avatar 2 having come out recently. No one's really talking about it anymore. And that extends to Avatar itself. So is this really a hot take? I don't know. Maybe in your circles, more people are talking about it. But from what I've seen in film Twitter that I'm on, I don't really see anyone even mentioning this movie apart from the once in a while James Cameron love post or whatever. But overall, I gotta disagree with this take. Look, I'm not a fan of Avatar, but it's definitely not overrated in the general public. But definitely overrated by some, I'd say. And I do agree with the second part that good visuals don't mean good movie. They do wonderful things in pushing the technology for film, but the story is very lackluster, and same with the characters. All right, now we have these two that I tried to decipher for a few days what exactly they meant, but The Muppets and Rio. Okay. Next up, we do have one that does tie into Rio, and that is Rio has one of the best soundtracks of early 2000s animated movies. I mean, you got will.i.am, so of course you're going to have one of the best soundtracks. There's some fun songs. It takes place in Brazil, so I agree with this take. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I can see why you say that. No one really talks about Rio and its soundtrack, but it has some bangers on there for sure. And now we have a greatly worded one. I rather eat soup with a fork than watch the snooze fest that is Blade Runner. Another hot take of mine, the first Blade Runner, whatever version you're watching, is incredibly just okay. It's fine. I know some people say it has one of the greatest villains of all time and all that, and it's been such a big influence on so many other science fiction films and just filmmaking in general, but it's a fine movie. It's been done better. I mean, Denis Villeneuve did Blade Runner 2049, and that is leaps and bounds better than Blade Runner. So if you want to watch a Blade Runner movie without having to eat soup with a fork, I'd say watch Blade Runner 2049 and watch a recap of the first Blade Runner, because there are some key things that you'll need to watch the second one. A hot take I sort of agree with. And finally, we got a wild one. Lion King is mid. Now, I have to assume, for the sake of my peace and mind, that you are talking about the 2019 one. And even then, that's just a bad movie. So if you are talking about the 1994 version, which I think he is, you're just wrong. It is not mid. It's one of the greatest animated movies of all time. Top 3 for sure. The soundtrack's immaculate. It looks beautiful. There's so little flaws to this film, but just why? Why would you think this? This is a hot take that is the hottest of today's video, and it is a bad take. And bad take. I'm moving on from it because it's just making me mad the more I think about it. And he knows what he did. Bad take. But all right, those are my reactions from the latest batch of hot takes from our Instagram followers. Please be sure to follow us on there and other social media platforms if you want your hot take to be included in the next video. And thank you once again to everyone that has submitted this time and in the past. Be sure to let us know your hot takes down in the comments below, and your takes on their takes, and your takes on my takes on their takes. A lot of takes. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay tuned for more yetifilms content, and I'll catch you later.